President Trump is not happy. He was at Lindsey Graham's funeral yesterday after meeting with Bibi Netanyahu and Volodymyr Zelensky. The leaders of the world were sitting in the church in National Cathedral, Washington, D.C., and Iran launched ballistic missiles at our Air Force Base. Again, this is the same Air Force Base where they were able to kill 4 service members. Those ballistic missiles were all shot out of the sky, thank God. But it wasn't a pretty picture. It was obviously to send a message to Donald Trump to try and control the terms of what's actually happening in the Middle East. And here's the messy shootdowns last night. I only say messy because, well, Trump is pissed about all of this, and it seems like things are about to get messy. Trump told Fox News he's going to beat the effing S out of Iran. We're all adults here, and we can read. Try not to curse that much on the show, but here we go. And he followed that up seconds ago inside of the Oval Office saying this.
The LNG tanker off of Egypt.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about that? And is there any indication it's Iran related? Does it represent?
Well, I'm going to give you a report. I've been briefed. It's a little more of the same, but it's going to be straightening out. It's going to be straightening out. In the meantime, we're going to be hitting them very hard because it's our turn to hit them. They know it's coming. They're asking us not to do it, but they tried shooting it last night. So we had 5 rockets shot going 8,500 miles an hour, and all 5 rockets were knocked down to the ground. But they nevertheless took a shot. So it's our turn, and we'll see if we get there with an agreement at some point. But we're going to hit them very hard.
It's our turn, says Donald Trump. Do you remember when you were on the playground in grade school and you'd take turns punching your buddy in the gut to see who could handle it? And now it's Trump's turn. So a gut punch just happened for America in Egypt, a brand new theater in this war. You know Egypt, very famous civilization and country. You can see here is Cairo right here, where some of the most famous artifacts in the world are. Pyramids of Giza out there in the Egyptian wilderness, famous Alexandria. And then over here is Damietta, LNG. Damietta, what is that exactly? Well, it's a massive liquefied natural gas port. It is where millions and millions of liters of liquefied natural gas get shipped out every single day and processed. It is very sophisticated. It has American infrastructure at it, and it is a critical storage port for a number of different nations that are going to be shipping natural gas out into the greater Mediterranean. You can see right there where it is on the map. But it is under attack right now, opening up a massive new theater in the war. Drone hits gas storage tanker in Egypt's Mediterranean port. My goodness, what happened? A fire caused no injuries or fatalities, Egypt's petroleum ministry says, but the strike hits a major storage facility that stores 138,000 cubic meters of gas, the company details show. A drone hit U.S.-owned gas storage tanker in Egypt's Mediterranean port of Damietta. British maritime security firm Ambry said on Wednesday an initial assessment that could signal further spread of the conflict across the Middle East. A statement from Egypt's petroleum ministry confirmed a fire at the port and made no mention of the drone attack, but did not provide a cause for the incident. Port services firm said that in a separate message that 2 gas tankers caught on fire in Damietta. The drone hit a floating storage tank, causing a fire that spread to another vessel. 3 trading sources familiar with the incident says 2 separate security sources are likely to cause of the blast assessed by a drone strike. Where would the drone have come from? It was unclear who was responsible for the incident. It occurred shortly after Iran carried out missile attacks against U.S. forces in Jordan last night. Washington and Saudi Arabia struck Iran-backed paramilitary groups in Iraq. Ooh. Trump threatened to retaliate now against Iran, and the Houthi group declared a naval blockade on Saudi Arabia, apparently spreading the conflict wide since the U.S. and Israel started bombing Iran in February. Ooh, okay, here we go. So this not good for global oil prices when you have these safe harbors that are being struck. You can see here the smoking vessel, and it shows crews putting out the fire, a U.S.-owned floating platform in Egypt following the drone attack. Initial reports that Iran had struck it. No confirmation yet on that. At least one drone has attacked U.S. natural gas storage facility in Damietta, Egypt. Multiple vessels evacuated. Facility storing liquefied natural gas in Egyptian port Damietta, hit by drone attack this afternoon. It will be the first attack targeting any energy infrastructure north end of the Red Sea. Crews are desperately trying to put out the fire. Obviously, very easy to start a fire when you have so much gas, fumes, petroleum in the area. A fire involving the floating storage regasification unit, an LNG carrier, has disrupted activity in Egypt's Damietta LNG terminal. Following the incident, both vessels were moved offshore as authorities assess the damage. Wow. Okay. Here we go. More footage of it. U.S.-owned floating gas storage tanker was unloading cargo at Egypt's port, Damietta port, sparking a fire that spread across to other vessels. The crews were evacuated. Fire brought under control. No injuries reported. No group has claimed the strike. You can see it here on satellite. You can see the movements of the ships out into the water. And you can see who's responding here, trying to hose it down. Dangerous times, man. Major escalation. U.S. owned and operated Marshall Island flagged floating LNG storage tank. This unit serves as Egypt's fourth largest LNG reclassification terminal, helping boost natural gas supplies, the country's power generation and industry sectors. The crew safely evacuated. It was brought under control, but you can see a big problem here. And what will happen next? I don't know. I guess we'll head on over to the Fox report from earlier today about what President Trump told Fox is going to happen tonight. We're going to hit him hard. It's our turn. Let's go.
Yeah, guys, good morning. President Trump reacting to that Iranian attack on U.S. forces overnight in Jordan. President Trump tells Fox News about Iran, "We are going to beat the effing S out of them." He went on to say, "We'll be hitting them hard. They're going to get a beating." So clearly the United States is going to respond to what the president described as a surprise attack. He says U.S. forces had just minutes to shoot down these incoming Iranian ballistic missiles. The president says he has reviewed video of the shoot down, and it was U.S. forces conducting this operation to defend that area. He said it was real time. They were calling out coordinates and ensuring that none of this incoming Iranian fire got through. I also asked the president about those U.S. and Saudi airstrikes against Iran-backed Iraqi Shia militias overnight. He says those strikes were coordinated with the Iraqi government. He called these Iran-backed militias a cancer on the world and says he is considering additional warnings against Iranian proxies and their link to the Iranian regime. The president also talked about his meeting yesterday with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in the Oval Office. He says it was a great meeting, adding he understands now. It appears that the relationship between President Trump and the Israeli Prime Minister is strengthening. And again, the president called that meeting in the Oval great. In terms of possible talks with the Iranian regime, the president says we're going to let them keep talking. Remember, the Iranians came to President Trump after 13 straight days of U.S. bombing against Iran, asking to meet about the Strait of Hormuz and their broader nuclear ambitions. And those talks are taking place as we speak behind the scenes. And then this surprise attack launched against U.S. forces overnight. And again, President Trump telling Fox News we are going to beat the effing S out of them, and that U.S. strikes will take place against Iran in response to this surprise attack overnight against U.S. forces in Jordan. Guys?
So what's intriguing, too, is we understand the previous attacks were with Saudi Arabia. You know, this whole thing started with epic fury with Israel. Do you sense that there might be a comprehensive plan in place, or working on it, that would involve Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, UAE, who at various times have taken unilateral action on their own, along with the IDF?
It's absolutely possible, because the Iranian plan here backfired. By attacking all of these Gulf countries, they built an informal coalition that is now targeting Iranian proxies in the region and even Iranian territory. And we saw that last night on display. Saudi Arabia publicly admitting that they are participating in strikes against Iranian proxies in Iraq alongside U.S. forces. And other countries in the Gulf have participated in limited capacity against the Iranians, targeting some of these coastal areas around the city of Bandar Abbas next to the Persian Gulf, where many of those U.S. strikes took place. And remember, when we spoke with President Trump earlier this year during Operation Epic Fury, he said he was most surprised by the fact that the Iranians were targeting these countries that were uninvolved, that were not striking Iran at the time. And so, again, what Iran has done here by targeting these Gulf countries is actually building this informal coalition that is now being used to pressure the Iranian regime. The question remains if these talks will lead to some sort of agreement. But again, President Trump tells Fox News there will be a U.S. response to this surprise attack overnight against U.S. forces in Jordan.
Trey Yingst just getting off the phone with the president. Trey, thank you very much for the exclusive reporting.
Thanks, Trey.